What up, YouTube? We back with another O'Shea video. Today is gonna be Anton's parenting skills are worse than we thought. As y'all know, this Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb situation just keeps unraveling and keeps adding more and more to the story. As a lot of y'all may know, Cory had went on the 5150 show and had a few comments for Anton's daughter and his wife and Anton himself. After this, a lot of people had the opinion that Cory went too far and things of that nature, and Anton kind of waved the white flag and threw in the towel, if you will, as far as the back and forth. But he did go on his morning show to express that his daughter was being bullied and going through online bullying in that school, and had to remove her from different events and programs and cancel vacations. So there were a lot of people feeling remorseful for Anton in this situation, and then there's a lot of people saying that he kind of put his family in the crossfire by his actions he took and being so boastful after the initial altercation that him and Cory had on the 5150 show. But O'Shea has another video breaking that down a little bit more for us, so let's go ahead and get right into that.
Anton Daniels appeared on a certain content creator's platform whom I will not name out of respect. And she thought to ask Anton how his daughter is doing ever since she was plastered all over Corey Holcomb's show, the 5150 show, and as a result, all over the internet.
After the fallout from the Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels beef, we all know what happened. His daughter and his wife, now speaking about Anton Daniels here, were attacked by Corey Holcomb. And once it happened, Anton Daniels took a defensive position.
Pulling her out of school, early therapy, making sure that she is protected, trying to see what the fallout will be as far as her having to be removed from some of her competitions.
He says his daughter was psychologically damaged. She was figuring it out. And for a moment there, many people started to sympathize with Anton Daniels, even if they didn't like her, simply because his daughter was a minor and his wife, who is not a public figure, had nothing to do with the fallout. So people didn't understand why neither one of them were attacked. Then there was the interview that I believe happened with Messi Michonne. Shout out to her. And Messi and Michonne had Anton Daniels on to talk about this stuff, but I didn't see her clip on her particular channel. In fact, I heard about this particular video from No Captivity with Freezy, in which I'm using the clips coming from his particular reaction. And it's interesting because she asked some really strong questions, and again, Anton Daniels would use the same excuses.
Little light-skinned girl. It don't matter about her accomplishments. It don't matter about where she going. It doesn't matter about her background. It doesn't matter that is a standard by which we're supposed to raise our daughter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is that she's a little dark-skinned girl. And she's mine.
Of course, all of this is happening because his daughter is dark-skinned, and that's the reason why Corey Holcomb hates him, right?
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the f you think you is?
Then Messi would just ask him some, general concerning question.
She figuring it out. She figuring it out.
He doesn't dislike your daughter because she's dark skinned and looks like you. He said these jokes and clown your daughter and your wife because he thinks you're a clown, and you tried to clown him. So he's just trying to get some get back. He would have had to say something about your daughter if she was light skinned, brown skin, whatever skin. This is retaliation. He's not these jokes aren't coming out of nowhere, in my opinion. He felt tried after you left his show and went to all your panels talking about how you would have beat Cory's ass and all these different things, all these aggressive statements. And he went back on his show with his jokes, because he is a comedian, and you didn't have no jokes to shoot back with, because you're not a comedian. You're just a commentator that says shocking statements every now and again. But regardless, he's not getting on your daughter because she's dark skinned. He's getting on your daughter because you antagonized the situation when initially everybody felt like you won. That night after the 5150 show with Anton Daniels, everybody thought Anton won. It wasn't until Anton went on these interviews and different shows and panels talking about how he would have beat Cory's ass and all these aggressive statements. So he had to get some type of get back. That's just my opinion.
As a person, she's great. And so luckily I have the resources to do everything that I can to ensure that she's protected as much as possible. But I can't control the internet. You know what I'm saying?
How is your daughter? How is she? How is everything? And he would ask, she's figuring it out. You know, I have all these resources and things to do, which is his particular response for everything. And shout out to No Captivity with Freezy. He has some really good commentary here. He said, on the surface level, this does sound like a concerned father. Again, I wouldn't be doing the stream talking about my child and what somebody else said about my child and smiling about it, especially if my child is hurt. But again, that's me. Everybody is different. But then Messi would ask a very intimate detail about Anton Daniels.
Of course not. Can you confirm that she is or is not a minor?
She is a minor.
Okay.
She's 100% a minor.
Okay.
She's still in high school. She's still in high school.
She didn't want to be invasive, but she asked a question. Is your daughter a minor? Anton Daniels lets us know, yeah, she's 100% a minor. And then he also clarifies that she is indeed in high school. So again, that lets us know that what Corey Holcomb did or allegedly did was not against a person that was an adult. It was against a private citizen that was indeed a minor. But this is the troubling question that Messi.
Hey man, y'all know the drill. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so I don't have to keep skipping these ads for you guys.
And here we go.
So is the do you expect that there will be more coming from Cory with regard to this? Coming back?
Listen. I anticipated all of this 10 moves ahead.
Do you expect that Corey Holcomb would do more? And Anton says, well, I predicted this even 10 moves ahead. Okay, now there's a certain problem with this narrative, but I'm gonna explain why. Because 10 moves ahead means something like this.
This is dedicated to you, lame.
Oh, that's cool.
Now again, this is the controversial new t-shirt that Corey Holcomb is selling on his 5150 Big Cartel. And it says, hey, leave my...
For the 50. Boy, trying to make some bread off these. I ain't gonna lie. Just selling 2 shirts, that's $100? Jeez. Sell 10 shirts, that's $1,000? Okay. You got something going on. No, I'm wrong. 10 shirts, that's $500. My math fucked up.
My family out of this, and all of these are primates, including Anton Daniels, which is in the middle, and he has the Anton Daniels glasses in the beard. So basically, Corey Holcomb is calling his daughter a primate, his wife a primate, and himself a primate. So the question is, if you knew that this was going to happen 10 moves ahead, then why would you do it? You see, let's say that Anton Daniels is indeed Nostradamus. And he knew that his daughter would have to be pulled out of school. His daughter would have to be ostracized because, you know, she was made fun of. She was put all over the internet and embarrassed. And then the wife was also talked bad about. No doubt about this, that the family members were calling Anton Daniels and all around, and they did not appreciate that, you know, their granddaughter or their, you know, their young cousin or whoever the relationship to his daughter is. They did not appreciate the fact that indeed this was happening. I have no absolute doubt that Anton Daniels got a lot of smoke from the family are concerned. But now he's telling the family, listen, all of you who love my daughter, look, I knew this was gonna happen. 10 moves ahead. Now, whether he knew that Corey Holcomb would do this 10 moves ahead, I cannot predict that. I think that this is cap, right? Because if he can predict this outcome 10 moves ahead, then that means his prophetic power is godlike. If you can...
Of course he didn't predict this. There's no way you can predict that someone will bring up your daughter's photo on a highly popular night show to clown her or your wife. There's no way you could have predicted that. He didn't see that coming. I don't think he saw that coming. Maybe his wife, but not his daughter for sure. Now, when it comes to the situation with Corey bringing up that photo of his daughter and his wife, I don't necessarily agree with that. You know what I mean? I think he kind of hit below the belt with that one. But that t-shirt is funny. Especially Anton in the middle, like the primates, whatever. But the main part of the t-shirt, Anton in the middle with the angry face, that shit is hilarious. But yeah, like I said, I don't really agree with bringing minors into the situation or wives. But when you play internet games, you know what I'm saying? When the internet is the arena, then it's like, what can you do? Because at the end of the day, like, these is just videos and words and statements. You know what I mean? Really ain't much you could do.
And predict what somebody's going to do 10 moves ahead, then you are indeed the most powerful. You're the richest person in the world. You'd win the lottery every week. You know, you would have all of these advantages to you that you'd be an unstoppable force. And then if you knew that this was going to happen and that you were going to suffer behind it, you most likely wouldn't do it. So he wasn't 10 moves ahead. But the fact that he's saying that he is 10 moves ahead means that he's taking responsibility for what happened to his daughter, what happened to his wife. That, in other words, I knew this 10 moves ahead and I just don't care. That's what it sounds like. But on your other video, you're saying that you do care because you had to take her out of class. And see, all of this comes down to what we see with polarizing creators. And I want to get more detail with this. When you're on YouTube and you're not chasing a niche for the most part, and no, controversy is not a niche, you can choose conservative politics and still choose polarization. And so when you choose polarizations, you're not embedded or undergirded in any values that you can repeat every day. So what happens is when you're just trying to chase the bag or just trying to be
y'all already know the drill, man. If you haven't by now, make sure you like and subscribe so I don't have to keep skipping these ads for you guys. Let's get back to it.
Cool. You're saying anything at any moment to give yourself clout, but the reality is you're not saying the same thing every day, so you contradict yourself. When one stream, you're saying that, you know, your daughter's trying to figure it out, you're trying to pull her out of school, and that probably is a lie. And then you come back and say, I was 10 moves or 10 steps ahead of Corey Holcomb. But then if you use that logic, then the rebuttal to that is, well, you knew that Corey Holcomb was going to make a t-shirt of your family. Did you know that Corey Holcomb was going to plaster your face all over social media? Did you know that Corey Holcomb was going to go after your wife? Because if that was so, after the interview, then you shouldn't have said anything to Corey Holcomb, knowing that he could do this. If I knew that certain people would behave towards me and even in the beef, I wouldn't engage in the beef, because that means that the people in my family would be plastered, they would be talked about, they would be disgusted, they would be discussed, they would be made fun of. It just simply wouldn't be worth it to me. Now, I'm not even a father, but people in my personal life, let's say if I'm dating somebody or whatever, I would not want that information to come out. But you're saying that you already understood this, and then you understood that your daughter would be at risk. So then this also matches up to the fact that your daughter is in pain and is in shambles, but you show up on time to a live stream to talk about it the next day, which is curious because content creators who have big live streams, and I'm not gonna say that Anton Daniels has a big live stream. What I would tell you is Anton Daniels has a lot of followers, but Anton Daniels doesn't get like a lot of views per video. He doesn't have the same sort of live stream that people look up to, like Corey Holcomb. Or let's say if Tariq Nasheed goes live or somebody like that. When Anton Daniels goes live, literally he's just putting in the work, he's getting super chats from his loyal audience every day, and then he's gonna clip those videos out and he'll do some reactions, and then that'll be part of his workload. So he's basically doing that and just cutting up the clips and just posting them and getting paid from them, right? It's a good strategy, it's a good AdSense earning strategy, but it's not a really big long-term strategy. I know I'm talking a lot, but I digress. Let me get back to what I'm saying. When there's a big event like Anton Daniels versus Corey Holcomb and people are looking for his side of the story, on that day he'll have a lot of views, right? Because people will be interested in his opinion. He doesn't have to show up on time that day. He can do the stream later, the next day, and people will be looking for him because people are looking to hit for his response. So that means he didn't have to be on time that day. Just like me, when I want to post a video about something, I don't have to post a video about something right away when it's hot. I can wait 1 or 2 or 3 days and that video is still going to get views, because people typically want to hear what I'm going to say or talk about a topic or anything like that. And that's the advantage that Anton Daniels has in the game right now. He doesn't have to show up at the same time every day, especially when he has a long-going beef with Corey Holcomb, but he still came on time. And despite the fact he came on time, his daughter was in shambles. He should have technically took off that day, or at least that morning, came on later that day. He would have still got the same amount of views, or even if more, the same amount of super chats, and then it would have looked like he was more concerned about his kid. But what it looks like now is that, number one, you're not a concerned father. Number one, we can prove that by just you chasing clout and saying things that don't match up. You're contradicting yourself, which is what polarizing content creators do. They always contradict themselves because they say things to look cool or to look impactful rather than look truthful. This is what all polarizing content creators do. Tommy Sotomayor is guilty of this, so is Myron and Fresh and Fit, and also somebody like Anton Daniels. Number two, he doesn't care about his wife. We have also heard contradicting elements from his vernacular concerning his own wife. We've heard him say that he doesn't cheat, and then we've heard him say that he has 5. Then we've heard him say that he doesn't engage in this, but he engages in that. Again, his wife deserves the world. But if his wife deserves the world, why is he cheating? Again, it doesn't matter. And then he says, well, they have an agreement. Well, if they have an agreement, him and his wife, that he can date other women, but he calls himself a Christian and he loves God. Well, then if you have an agreement with your wife about basically committing adultery or fornication, then God would not be happy with that framework. There's just so many problems with what Anton Daniels says every day. He's literally a lie machine. Every time the guy gets online, he's saying something that just isn't true, and he drags himself down continuously, like I said, in a quagmire, like quicksand. Whatever he says, it just makes it quicker for him to sink, and he's not smart enough, in my honest opinion, to kind of realize what he's really doing. Now, he might be intelligent in talking about certain things when it comes to politics, but keeping his framework together for his public persona and image, it just completely doesn't make sense. And it looks like this is an unintelligent way to do things. He continues to get caught up in his own contradictions. He like walks right into them like a lot. It's almost like somebody shooting and a guy just walking into the line of fire on purpose, and he's just looking to get hit. That's Anton Daniels. And he doesn't mind getting hit as long as people are talking about him and he's going viral. But he doesn't understand that this is damaging to the brand. It creates a lack of trust from your audience towards you, for your Patreon, for people giving advice. It just seems like you don't know what you're talking about at any given time. You're just talking to be talking, and that's concerning, especially from somebody talking about bag chasing. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again. Episode of The Celebrity Drunk. Push it before I do, turn the bell. We're out.
I wanted the.
And with that said, we're out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video, and we out.